Milfs, have you ever started a diet plan and not known if it's best for you? Well, in this video, I'm going to unpack exactly how to find out which diet is the best for you, all the numbers laid out, all the food groups laid out, absolutely everything top to tail. So stay tuned to the end. First, we have to answer the most basic questions. What is a diet? So some of you think that your diet is just about what you eat and not what you drink. I'm here to tell you it encompasses absolutely everything over 365 days in the year. A diet shouldn't be something that you just focus on for 7 days or, Monday through to Friday and then completely neglect on Saturday and Sunday. So how do we figure out if it's the right or the wrong diet for you? Top line is going to be a blood test. So a lot of you out there are just taking multivitamins with no understanding what your deficiencies are. You're taking a fiber supplement because maybe you feel a bit backed up every now and then, and you don't really know what's in what or what you're deficient in. So you're just plugging holes that might not even be holes, and it's leaving you in a place where you're confused. So the best way is to get a blood test. Zinc, magnesium, iron, all that good stuff. Get all of that tested. Vitamin B12, the whole nine. That way you know exactly what gaps to fill. Now, for some of you might be thinking, Adriano, I can't be asked to get a blood test. Great. So let's walk down that path too. The next boulder we need to break down is your calories based on your goals. So if you're watching, I'm assuming you probably want to lose weight. So you'll need to be in a deficit. That deficit can be big or small depending on how much weight you want to lose and how fast you want to get there. Now, the method that you decide to use looks different on every single individual. So I'm going to briefly unpack all the different diets, what they kind of look like and what they're made up of. So we're going to tackle probably the big five: vegan, vegetarian, keto, paleo, and fasting. So with vegan, usually it is high carb, high fiber, low fat, and probably low in protein. With vegetarian, because you can have things like dairy and eggs, it kind of bumps up your daily averages of protein. So you're still looking at a high carb diet, still high in fiber, but probably more high in protein. Now, if you're trying to lose fat, vegetarian and vegan diets are usually pretty hard to stick to. So I definitely wouldn't advise that approach unless it is morally or ethically something that you want to do and chase, in which case, fantastic. I couldn't agree more. I used to be vegan for a full year and a vegetarian for 3, and I felt great on that approach, and I was able to maintain a really healthy weight with that food as well. The most common one is keto. So with keto, you've got high protein, high fat, but pretty low in fiber and all your auxiliary minerals. I, by and large, think that you need carbohydrates, one for fiber, but vitamins and minerals as well. And so if you're stripping out all the vitamins and minerals, primarily in fiber, out of your diet, safe to say it's going to cause more issues than it probably solves. Although you're going to lose fat really fast, you still need to be in a calorie deficit, and you also are just going to strip your body worth of carbs, which is essentially water. You're kind of crashing out your nutrition for no real benefit. And in terms of all the scientific research that's been done as well, you perform worse on a keto diet, and there's a litany of other things that a keto diet just doesn't tick off. So the paleo diet would probably be my favorite. Nuts, nothing processed in there whatsoever. You can have absolutely everything you would normally have except for the processed crap. Now, for a lot of people, it's a pretty clear-cut thing to have. Is it processed? Cool, I can't have it. Is it not processed? Yes, I can have it. It's typically higher in protein, higher in carbs, and with like a moderate fat. If I had to pick any diet to go off, that would be like the most nutritionally sound one, because it's just whole foods. You can't really go wrong. But at the end of the day, you will still need to be in a calorie deficit in order to see great fat loss results. So all roads kind of lead to Rome. Now, lastly, fasting, essentially skipping breakfast or skipping a meal. So selective starvation. Do I think that this is a good tactic? No, because at the end of the day, it's still calories in, calories out. Are there any marked health benefits that come from it? No. By the research, they find that there's no real significant difference between fasting for health benefits and eating in a calorie deficit for health benefits. It's much of a muchness. So I, by and large, think fasting is a complete waste of time. Can it simplify your life and save you a bit of time? Yes. But typically what happens for a lot of my mamas is they'll use the fact that they skip breakfast as an excuse to start eating more at lunch or dinner time and justify it because they haven't had breakfast, thus staying in the exact same place because the calories are exactly the same. Now, the final approach that I love is flexible dieting. That means you can go have a slice of cheesecake at a family event. That means when the work snacks are being passed around, you can still have 1 or 2 and not blow out your calorie budget. Essentially, you can know what to eat, when to eat it, and just learn how to fit it in versus following some strict rule. Essentially, if you think about it as your wage, if you earn $2,000 in a week, you know that you can spend $2,000 in a week. If you want to save that money, you can save $400 of those dollars and spend $1,600 and save money. just like when you're using calories, you can bank calories for the weekend to spend them on the weekend. So let's say if you've got 1,200 calories per day during the week and your fat loss calories at 1,600, you've probably accrued about 2,000 calories that you could probably spend on a Saturday and Sunday and still lose a really significant amount of weight. So I really love flexible dieting. It's how I get my mum's 8 kilos down in 16 weeks without cardio and dietary restrictions. It is by far the best and most flexible way for mums to achieve their goals without a shadow of a doubt, because you're just eating the same foods you would normally eat, but just slightly better versions and in less portions. So all those diets are good in their own right. But what do I truly believe is the best diet for career-driven mums other than the flexible dieting? The best diet for any mum is the one that you can stick to. See, a lot of people think that there is some whiz-bang diet that they need to follow or some strategy or procedure, but I guarantee you right now watching, you behind the screen, there is no gun to your head, so you're eating whatever the you want to eat anyway. And I know you're probably going to stick to any diet for 3 to 6 months tops because you don't have the accountability like a coach offers. You don't have the systems in place or anything like that. So you need a really straight line to get to your goals. And so the best diet, as always, the one that I follow, is the one that I can stick to, because you're not going to wake up every day with a new wave of motivation. You're not going to wake up going like, I want to be the world's healthiest mum today, and then start tackling that. You're just going to want to eat something that you can stick to, that you enjoy. And so for me, nutrition stuff aside, it's the one that you enjoy the most. That is the best diet for you. If you look forward to the food that you're eating, you're going to eat more of it because you look forward to it. There's a reason why I love my granola bowls in the morning, not particularly because of the health benefits, even though it's high in protein, it's got apples and in their kiwis, but it's because I actually look forward to it. Every morning, I can't wait. 8 a.m., I'm there cracking down my granola bowl with a load of fruit, and I love it. It keeps me full all day, and I really look forward to it. You behind the camera, you have to find the diet and the food that you love eating, because if you love it, you're going to stick to it, and that makes fat loss so much easier. It makes it less about discipline and more about just good quality systems and enjoying your life, which is what a good fat loss phase should look like. But you might be thinking, Adriano, I've just got nowhere to start. How do I even do this flexible I don't even know. Let's walk down that path together. Some of you might not know this, but the food that you eat every single day has a makeup of fats, proteins, and carbs. So with fats, you predominantly get that from meat, eggs, nuts, junk food, things like avocados. With protein, you're pretty much looking at meat, eggs, dairy, shakes, protein-infused stuff like bars, that sort of stuff. Most of the other stuff like legumes aren't really good sources of protein, I'll be honest. Tofu, maybe with an exception. Then carbohydrates, potatoes, rice, pasta, breads, and probably junk food all tick the carbohydrate box. Now, where most mums go wrong is they get this number really, really low because they love snacks, junk food, which is typically high in fats, high in carbs, and high in calories and really easy to overeat. Where they typically go wrong is not having enough meat, eggs, dairy, shakes, or protein-infused stuff to keep them fuller for longer. So whatever diet you do have, make sure it is a nice distribution of all these things, but especially protein. And about 80 to 100 grams a day, every day, is the best way to do that. Now, that'll be about 400 grams of any real meat source. Could be tuna, seafood, things like that. I forgot to add seafood on there, but that's technically meat. Eggs are usually an okay source of protein, but typically the egg whites is where the money's at. Dairy, high protein yogurts, things like that are great. Shakes are also really good in a pinch, but your primary diet should not be shakes alone. You should probably want 80% of your protein to come from whole food sources like meats, dairy's good, eggs, that sort of stuff. So your diet, the one that you like the most, should have, in my view, low fat, high protein, and high carb, because carbs are going to keep you fuller for longer on less calories. So typically potatoes keep you really full. Rice is maybe a middle ground. Pasta, middle ground too. Bread's typically pretty good. Now fats, they're usually very, very calorically dense, meaning they take up a little bit of room in your stomach. So you probably want to limit those and keep them nice and low just because of that reason. Now there's a bunch of health benefits from having a low to moderate amount of fat, but that's probably a story for another time. Now, protein. This is going to be your best friend for keeping fuller for longer and satiated, allowing you to not snack as much and things like that. So this is the primary one that I get all my mums to focus on when I'm coaching them. Carbs and fats are typically just by a preference, because if protein is the number one you need to hit, safe to say each day that you have as a busy mum is going to look very, very different. And so if your day is different, it means that your fats and carbohydrates are going to look different based on the snacks, treats, food that you have prepped, all that sort of stuff. The number one thing that you should focus on would be calories and your protein. So that's all I have today on the best diet for career-driven mums. Reason being is because keeping it simple is always going to work. The only thing that is rocket science is rocket science, and your diet should be based around protein, calories, and stuff you enjoy on a daily basis, because you're more likely to stick to it for the time it takes in order to get the result that you're looking for. And once you hit that, then you can look a bit finer into proteins, fats, carbs, and really carving out a really heavily nutritious diet for you that you can stick to, because you kind of want to tackle one thing at a time. And typically when you're losing fat, that's a big enough thing that you need to tackle. So focus all your resources on tackling the fat as soon as possible, then worry about the nutritional quantity or quality after that, and you're looking pretty good. Now, if you're a career-driven mum that is working 40+ hour weeks, you're juggling a family, a career, a business, and you really want to streamline this fat loss process, my name's Adriano. I've helped over 1,400 mums at this stage lose 8+ kilos in 16 weeks and keep it off with our signature program. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a link down below that you can book a call with me personally. We can have a chat about your goals and see if the program's right for you. But I guarantee if it is, I can help you get to wherever you want to get to body-wise in 5 times the speed to what you could probably do it alone. Anyway, I will see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell as well, because otherwise you won't get notified when I do post a video, and you'll miss out on a bunch of free value just like this video. So I will see you on the next one. Great to chat.